पैरों तले से ज़मीन निकल गई, सर के ऊपर से आसमान चले गया और जिस चीज़ का डर था, जो आपको डर होता है यूज़ कार लेने के पहले, वही डर जो है सामने आ गया। Hey guys, welcome to my channel Wicky Vlogs and I'm Wicky, and today's video is about my car, like how did I bought a Vento and why did I choose to buy a Vento and not any other car. Now, first of all, I would like to thank all of my subscribers, since most of you have come from the Vento service video. So I'm really grateful for you to showing that love and support on that video. It has got about highest views, 10,000 views and 200 likes. So thank you so much, my dear subscribers. So people who are aware, like who know me personally, they know that I am a biker. I am not a car guy, and since this channel is new, you know me since last 6 months or maybe 5 months or 2 months. I would like to tell you that I am not a car person and I'm a biker. So before having this vehicle, I had a 135cc Bajaj, okay, and I used to go on tours on that bike, work related tours. I never do any leisure trips or as such. You might have seen even in my car vlogs, I do not do any personal trips with no reasons. So whatever there are business related purposes, I utilize those vehicles. So I had been using that bike for quite a long time. I had that bike since last 12 years now, and since last 2 years the condition of that bike was not that great. The condition was getting deteriorated, and I wanted a good vehicle, a good bike that I can put to use and go on tours and somewhere. So I had decided to go for a different bike, a new bike altogether, and I'm talking about year 2020. And that time there was a new bike called as the Adventure 390 from KTM, and I thought I'll go for that bike since that solves a lot of my purpose. It was loaded with features and everything. In fact, I happened to go for a test, and I really liked the posture, the dynamics of the bike, and I felt okay, this is meant for me, for the purpose that I would use. Now apparently what happened after having the test drive, the lockdown began, and then I was like, it was a good decision that I did not invest that money and locked in that money for going for a KTM. So then apparently I had taken some gap of going for a new vehicle because my business was also stopped. So there was no need for me to go for a new vehicle as such. Apart from that, then the lockdown began, and we had no clue when it will be opened and when my business will begin and everything. And I and my friends start to utilize some period and time to learn driving. So I along with two of my friends decided to learn a four-wheeler. And we said, let us join a motor training school, and since we are 3, he may give us a good discount. And that is where we started contacting a few motor training schools here in Powai, also in Thane, since my friend who is behind the camera, he stays there. We contacted a lot of companies and motor training schools, and their budget was somewhere between 7,000 to 8,000 per person. So that goes to about, I think, between 20 and 24,000 for 3 people. And now when I understood the amount, I asked for a discount, and they were like, this is the best that we can do. The minimum that they were offering were around 7,000. And I was like, I think let us figure out a different way. Let me contact my friend. Okay, so I contacted my friend who is behind the camera helping me shoot this, Rohan. So I called him and I was like, you know what, dude, I'm planning to learn four-wheeler, and this is what they are charging me. If you can teach me, I'll pay you half. So we are 3, and I'll pay you about, let's say, for 3 people about 4,000. 4 into 3 is equal to about, I think, 12,000. Would you be interested? And he was like, yeah, no problem. Why don't you pay me that and I will teach you? So jokingly he said that. And then what happened? I was like, okay, great. Then we 3 are coming tomorrow. We'll pay you. Let's begin our classes tomorrow. And he was like, okay, do you have a vehicle? I was like, dude, I don't have a car. So he's like, yeah, but then you need to have a car to learn. And I was like, dude, you have 2 vehicles. He had a Accent and he had a Creta. And I was like, dude, you got a vehicle. Let me, learn on that. And he was like, no, you need to have your own vehicle for you to learn. Now I understood this was, he was trying to put that idea in my mind that I should think about having a car altogether, since I had told him about my KTM adventure plan, and he was like, that will not be a good thing. Now you should move to a four-wheeler, since looking at your business urgencies and the kind of trips that you will do, car is a better option. So he indirectly had given that idea in my mind that you need to have a car. So I went back to two of my friends and I was like, okay, let us go for a car, maybe a used car obviously, but then let us go for a small car like a Maruti 800 or a Alto or maybe a Nano, so that we learn on it from Rohan, will become an expert, and maybe we'll upgrade. So in fact, we started searching for a car online. I started searching for 800, Alto and a Maruti, and also Nano. So the budget was somewhere between 20 to 35,000, and these vehicles were available. In fact, there were a few vehicles that I happened to inquire, and they were in good condition. But I took a gap. I was like, I spoke to myself. And when I bought my bike, it is 135cc, like I told you, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And I was like, when at the time of buying, I was like, I will learn, I'll become an expert, and then I'll upgrade to a new bike. But eventually that didn't happen. I got attached to my vehicle, and I spoke to my friends. I told them the same thing, that if I buy a Nano or an Alto for the purpose of learning, but eventually I'll get attached to that vehicle and I will not sell it off, and I will keep that vehicle for a little longer than expected. So I went to my friends. I was like, let me just think about going for a good car, a better car, maybe a small one, obviously for learning purposes, for parking purposes, but a small car. So no doubt the small car that I had decided was a Polo. Obviously Polo because of the looks, and second because of the power. So these two things were really important for me. So I started searching for Polo. I went on to OLX, I went on to used car portals, and I found good cars there. In fact, the budget that they had, their expectation was between 2 lakh to 2 lakh 25,000. I'm talking about models of 2010, 2011. And apparently what happened, while I was looking for Polo, I went on YouTube and tried looking for ownership experience. This is what I usually do whenever I'm kind of looking for any product to buy. I go for ownership experience rather than just looking for a tech review or a car review as such. So when I looked for an ownership review, I was really impressed with the vehicle. People were really praising its power, its capabilities, but the downside were the back seat area. It was not comfortable, and in my family, everybody is tall like me, and even my friends are taller. So when I'm going, for a long trip, maybe they might not be comfortable, and that's where I decided to, think about a car with a boot space. I contacted Rohan again, and I was like, dude, I'm thinking about buying a sedan, but then I'm worried since it will be my first car. I'm trying to learn. Do you advise that sedan will be proper? And you know what? This is what he said. Since he know my weak point, his dialogue was, Vicky, you buy a Volvo bus, and I will teach you how to drive that as well. And he knows I'm crazy for Volvo and Scania, and I was really happy. And the moment he said that, I was like, okay, I'm going for a sedan. I will go for a sedan. And then I started thinking about a sedan with Volkswagen again, a sedan with a boot, that is a Vento. Of course, Amio was there, but Amio I didn't wanted to go for because I really liked Vento's ownership experience. I looked over 250 videos on YouTube. So whoever has a Vento and whoever has uploaded an ownership video till last year, I have gone through all of them. And I was really happy with the way they had explained about the car experience in terms of the ownership, in terms of the power, in terms of everything. The downside, I don't remember any, to be honest, but I'm going to cover that in today's video in second part. Now that's about it. So then I decided I'll go for a Vento, and I zeroed on to going for a Vento from Volkswagen. Now, how did I buy this vehicle? Where did I find this vehicle? Like I was telling, I was searching for Nano 800 on OLX and other portals. My friend recommended me about going on Facebook Market. Now, since I was not on Facebook that time, I had never used Facebook earlier, I was not aware there is something called as a marketplace. So when he suggested me, I went over that Facebook marketplace, and I was really happy with what exactly options are, what is the asking price and everything. I looked for Vento again from the same model, 2010 and 2011. The budget was again expectation between 2 lakh 10 and 2 lakh 50,000. And I spoke to my friend and decided that we will go one day and we'll check out 3-4 cars and we'll finalize one. So we decided that we'll go to one place. So I'll share that experience as well. I went to Borivali at one dealer. He had a Vento there, and that was a good dealership, big dealership. He had many cars there, and Vento was parked right behind with 3 other cars ahead of it. So when we went, he was like, you can see the car from outside and inside. And then he was like, do you really want to take a test drive, because I will have to move the 2 cars and then get the vehicle out. And we understood maybe he is not willing, and that willingness, when the willingness is not there, we thought to drop it immediately. In fact, the vehicle was not in a good condition. 2010 model, it was not in a good condition, so we decided to drop that. Then I went to another place. I think I went to Vashi. There also we saw one vehicle that was in black color. The first I saw in Borivali was in white color. The second which I saw in Vashi was in black color. It was a good car, and I was like, I really like that car. I told my friend that let's go for this one, and he was like, cool down, let me take a test drive and we'll tell you. And Rohan had accompanied with one of his friend who already has a Vento, and the moment he took a test drive, Rohan took a test drive, he was like not satisfied. And his friend too, upon seeing the vehicle and taking a test drive, he felt that there is a lot of work to be done in that vehicle. So we dropped that as well. Now these are 2 vehicles that I spoke about. But then other than those, I happened to visit all the advertisers who were in Mumbai, Thane. We happened to visit all the advertisers at that time who were selling Vento. Then I realized upon seeing those vehicles, that vehicle between a budget of 210 to 250 would be in those condition only. They were in pathetic condition. Paint was good enough, but then what the dealership do, they keep on polishing and keep it for the display. But apparently the condition of those vehicles, the engine or the whole performance was not up to the mark. So I spoke to my friend and then decided to go for a little earlier model, later models like 2014 or 2015 or maybe 2016. And then we increased our budget. Apparently the budget went between 3 lakh to 4 lakh, and we started seeing the vehicle. And when we started to visit those dealership or the sellers, the vehicle were really in nice condition. Then I stumbled upon this vehicle which was placed on OLX. I happened to go on OLX. I saw that advertisement. I spoke to the guy, and the guy told me that it is his uncle's car. I'm talking about this car now. It is his uncle's car, and he has given to him to use, and he utilizes it only for his business purpose, as in to visit his business, which is hardly a kilometer or 2 from his home. So I was like, wow, this would be in really nice shape and condition, since he doesn't use much. So I happened to speak to Rohan. We decided on a day, and then we happened to visit him. I visited him, and the car was parked in the building under the basement. And I was really, happy. To give a metaphor, there is a movie called as Dhoom series. In that, there is a character called as Ali of Uday Chopra. He starts imagining with that girl that he's become married. He has married and then got kids. So I started imagining the same thing with the vehicle, that the condition must be good. I'm going to drive this, and this is fantastic. So the moment we went there, this guy, let me tell you, today he is my friend. Okay, so this guy just happened to give us the key, and he was like, take the vehicle out. He didn't ask us anything. He was like, this is your key, and just why don't you take it out and test it for yourself. Now obviously I didn't knew driving, and Rohan was the person for me to give me a green signal. So Rohan took on the driving seat. Obviously I was sitting next, and the guy was behind on the back seat. So we took it out, and he was the one, the seller was the one who said, you know what, take it on the highway, test it on the highway. So we tested on the highway, and then we came back, we returned, and then we asked Rohan that what exactly, how does he feel about the vehicle. And Rohan gave me a green signal. Rohan was like, this is a good vehicle, but don't tell him about it, that the vehicle is good, just hold on, we'll check out few other cars. But I was really amazed with this car's quality, the performance, when Rohan said the interior, the exterior as well. And I was really, convinced that this is the vehicle that I'm going with. And that's where I told the guy before leaving that you do not show this vehicle to anybody else. Let me come back to you within a day or 2. We left from there. I arranged for finance. Within 3 or 4 days, I think, we went, we paid the whole amount, and we bought the vehicle. And now, when we bought the vehicle, we celebrated. This is the first car that I had bought, a first vehicle. In fact, for those of my friends who are watching, you have a first vehicle, you are really lucky. Why lucky I'm telling is because you are the first one in the generation to have a vehicle. Because scientists say that the planet is from 1 billion years, right? Obviously, our ancestors may not have had the opportunity to, have an internal combustion engine to move with. But then we have got this opportunity. So we celebrated, we were really happy. And since I was watching a lot of ownership video about Vento and Polo, one thing which was common, now I remember, the negatives that they were talking about was the maintenance. The maintenance cost was really huge. So when I started looking for the maintenance, I happened to, check for a lot of videos with low cost service. And I stumbled upon one, enterprise that is called as Motofix. So they have their service center, Motofix, and they service this vehicle between 6,000 or 7,000. So they service a lot of vehicle. I went through their channel, I contacted them, we went to Motofix, we got this vehicle serviced in 6,500, I think, approximately. They didn't change the filters, air filter or cabin filter. They apparently just cleaned it. That was a part of that service. They changed the engine oil and everything. However, while doing the service, they told me that there are a lot of work in this vehicle, such as the suspension needs to be changed, the steering rack needs to be changed and everything. And I was like, maybe they, since, that's the first time that we had gone to Motofix, I felt maybe they are trying to loot us. That's a common, man's thinking. So I thought, okay, just hold on, let me come back to you if I need to, do the other works. So I told my friend, let us do one thing, the service is done, let us go once to Volkswagen authorized service center and there figure out what does it actually need a suspension overhaul or a steering change, steering rack change, everything. So before going there, I happened to ask one of my friend to call Volkswagen and inquire generally what would be the cost of those suspension thing, the steering rack thing. The overall cost was about 58,000 with GST and everything, 62,000. And I was like, okay. And Motofix were asking us to pay between 25 to 29,000, that with GST, 25 to 29,000. But I was like, what, it is related to suspension and I think I should do it with the authorized service center. So we happened to go there. Now this is where it becomes critical, guys. This is where it becomes critical. Now when I happened to go there with Rohan, since I didn't knew driving that time, obviously, so he was there to guide me. We asked the service advisor, the service manager was there. I would not take the name, or I would not tell which service center we went to, but then he came out and he asked, while he was just doing his daily course, he asked, did you repaint the vehicle? Before I can ask him the quotation and everything, I asked him, he asked us, did we repaint the vehicle? Now when I heard that, we said, I don't know, we just bought the vehicle. And he was like, okay. And then he came and then he started touching and taking a feel of the vehicle and he was like, no, it is repainted. I said, okay, all right. I didn't know what to say about it. Then he took us inside for a proper quotation on his computer with regards to Volkswagen, with regards to everything. And we, he was sharing the quote. He was checking the parts availability and everything. While doing that, he checked something into his system. And he turned his laptop towards me and he said, take a look. Now when I looked at it, what was written there about the vehicle, if I were to use that statement in Hindi, वो पैरों तले से ज़मीन निकल गई, सर के ऊपर से आसमान चले गए और जिस चीज़ का डर था, जो आपको डर होता है यूज़ कार लेने के पहले, वही डर जो है सामने आ गया. सो क्या डर था ये मैं आपको बताता हूँ इसके पार्ट 2 में. तो ये था इस पार्ट का कंटेंट कि how did I bought a Vento. Before buying Vento, my friend and his friends also suggested me go for a Maruti Swift, i10, i20 since your friend wants to learn. But I was very adamant. I was like, my friend gave me confidence that he can teach me Volvo. So Vento is what I will definitely go for, and that's where I bought a Vento. My friend is a fanboy for Hyundai and he recommended me Verna. Honestly, Verna is a good vehicle, but apparently, for me, aesthetics is really important. Now, some of you obviously may say that the aesthetic of Verna is also excellent, no doubt about it, but I'm the kind of guy who was more fascinated towards the, grille part of the car. So, that the old model which I was checking, that grille was not there, it was more of a lip. and this had a grill, and I was like, no, Vento is what I will go for. And people have spoken a lot about safety, and I will be using it for my business trips. If God forbid anything were to happen, I'll stay alive in this vehicle, and that is where I decided to buy a Vento. The second most important thing about this vehicle, the Vento or the Polo, is the service interval. The service interval is of 15,000 kilometer, and since I told you I'm a biker, for me that bike service interval is usually between 2,500 to 5,000 to maximum 7,000 with a KTM Adventure. So I was like, you know, here I'm getting almost double, that is 15,000 kilometer, and that is where I decided that it's going to be a Vento. So that's it. That's about it, guys. The second part is going to be about my ownership experience, where I will explain you exactly how this vehicle has costed me, what work I have done, how many service I have done, what is my driving experience with it, and everything. And what was that, you know, which gave me a mini heart attack when that laptop turned and I looked at it. What was that? I'm going to tell you in second part. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you liked my video, this one, do hit the like button and do subscribe to my channel Wicky Vlogs, and do check out my second part without fail, in which I'll explain the remaining things as I spoke to you. Thank you so much. Take care.